Attention, brave viewers. This video features adults immersed in a spine-chilling horror RPG experience. The content likely includes supernatural elements, horror-related events, and potentially scenes of violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy. Happy Sunday, everybody. It's been 7 years since episode 1. We are back for episode 2. And Willow, what I'm hoping we can do is just get kind of a little bit of a recap where we are, and then let's start playing, because I've been dying to continue this game.
Yeah, sure. So 7 years and 10 minutes ago, you all arrived in this small town on a tiny island in Japan called Shikoku. From various different places, you met up with a young, or you happened upon a young boy called Daisuke in this small cafe in this tiny town. He convinced you to come and investigate a abandoned bathhouse where he's set up base. You traveled below the bathhouse and saw all sorts of fun things. Like hordes of rats and steam and strange black-haired covered creatures with impossible arms. And then when you finally made it out of the bathhouse, you were on the side of this ravine that runs alongside the town. And below you was this slow sort of stream at the bottom of the ravine, and the sun was kind of beating overhead, and there was this metal walkway to a tall wooden tower going down the side of the ravine, with a Chorogaiden sticking sideways horizontally out of the cliff face, sort of encompassing the walkway. And the walkway came to a metal ladder that went down to a further walkway to the entrance to this tower. And the other interesting thing that happened was you found the cap of Dirge's friend, sort of tied to the railing.
That's right.
So there is obviously a thing in this game called the Eyescape. The Eyescape is the forces beyond slowly noticing you in the area you're in and upping the danger. The Eyescape doesn't change unless it's a new investigation. So we have the same Eyescape, which is 3, 4, 10, 11, 12. And at the moment you are on 0.7 of the Eyescape, which I will tell you is a creature emerges from the woods and begins hunting down the players. So we got a little bit of a sound of that last time. There's a kind of scream out in the woods and the trees started shaking.
Well, shit.
So I think where we left it, Dirge was halfway down a rusty ladder, and then the eyes took me and I disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think the plan is Dirge, once Dirge gets down there, I think we were going to take turns. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think the ladder did not look like the most sturdy or stable of things,
Like,
which is why we made Dirge go first.
That's right.
Well, I'm the tallest in the group, so
Also,
I less likely to. I have less to fall.
Yeah. So the ladder itself is kind of creaking and groaning, but it seems not breaking at the moment.
You could have just said not breaking, not breaking even at the moment.
Yeah, you can hear the rusty creak every time I shift, trying to see the ground beneath me. So it is not like a fire escape ladder where it is telescoping.
It is not. It is more like a kind of a fixed ladder to the cliff face, kind of bolted into it.
I'm at the top, watching. Durje, you might think that I'm like trying to present some sort of like safety monitoring. In reality, I'm trying to like, if you mess up or you do something worse, I'm trying to learn from your mistakes as you're climbing down.
I think Mickey is just kind of watching the spot in the forest where we heard that scream and saw a little movement, and just sort of staring over there to see what's going on.
Akane is still preoccupied with the message that fell out of her mouth.
So how far is the drop?
The drop is several feet. It's not, you wouldn't damage yourself badly if you felt, but you might kind of sprain your ankle, or if you missed, you would obviously go a lot further.
I, in a moment of frustration, just sort of kick off. And as I drop to the ground, my the overcoat that I'm wearing, that is sort of a duster, just makes this flap noise like a flock of birds. And is there, refresh my memory, please. Is there a way to voluntarily use our omen skill?
Just by actively using it. So right now you are actively using it by you've always felt slightly light, like you might just sort of float away. So you are floating down from this ladder. So it almost looks Looney Tunes-esque. You kind of kick off, and there's a moment where you're standing on thin air, and then you just slowly start to descend down to this platform.
I'm going to turn to Mikio and go, did you know he could do that?
That's not right.
Yes, actually. As in our first episode, I unintentionally just sort of floated away.
Still not right.
I can do it much cooler now. I spare a glance back to my group, and I'm going to hunt around for maybe some rope or something else that they could perhaps balance on when dropping down off the ladder.
Sure. So the entrance to this tower is just in front of you. It is this ornate wooden entranceway. It's kind of got these carved foxes kind of winding up these pillars either side of the entrance, and then there's what's known as shrine rope hanging down just in front of it. So it's kind of great knotted rope, very sort of thick. Akane,
Maeve, we can hear you typing.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay.
Is kind of looking down at the tooth that came out your mouth. Do you remember what it said?
It was a series of directions.
So as you're kind of studying the series of directions, the tooth begins to kind of shake and then cracks and opens. And something crawls out of it.
Oh, God.
Could you describe what it looks like? Or if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I can...
Oh, no. Are you kidding? Of course I want to describe it. It looks something like a stick bug, except that the carapace of the stick bug is the same enamel as a tooth. And the wings that are on it that are now buzzing quickly make this like clacking noise, like teeth clacking together. And when it turns its head, it has a weirdly humanoid head with a very wide grinning mouth full of very jagged teeth. and large bug-like eyes. And I think Akane screams at the top of her lungs.
It kind of like flies away from you a few feet, and then kind of hangs in the air, buzzing. And after the initial shock, you feel this weird sort of connection to this thing, like you know it because it was part of you.
Mm-hmm. I'll hold my hand up and out to it.
It rests gently on your hand, and it keeps making this kind of clicky, clacky, tooth chattering noise that is the sound its body just naturally makes.
When I hear the scream, sorry, Mickey kind of, spins around and whips out his little collapsible baton thing and just kind of is watching this with this vaguely disturbed expression on his face.
Just don't say anything. I know it's insane. I know all of this is insane. If we don't talk about it, it will just don't. And she takes a little thing and sets it on her shoulder and just kind of like pointedly looks at Mickey like, don't say a word. Just don't say a word.
And to be clear, I'm already halfway down the ladder after I watched all of that. I realized I wanted to be down with not up anymore.
Sure. So you are halfway down this ladder. It is groaning, and it is making a lot more noise than when Dirge was on the ladder.
Can this knotted rope be used to help everyone else down?
Yeah, you could cut the rope down and attempt to use it to help. How are you going to do that?
The kami have a trick Kitsune should approve. If I don't have a cutting implement on me, check around for some of the notoriously sharp shikoku stone.
Shale rock, yeah.
Yep.
Sure. So there is this sharp kind of slate sticking out of the side of the cliff, but it is firmly attached to the cliff. You would need to bash it off.
Do so.
Can I
kick? Just use the foot sort of to loosen up and drag it away.
Yeah, of course. Can I get a body check?
Sure. So I'm rolling 1d12.
Okay.
That does not look promising. So we're adding our body to it, correct?
Yes. Add your body and
total of 4.
Oh.
A 4.
That's a low number.
So real quick, because we just had someone rate us. So we're rolling pools of D12s and adding them together and then adding our stat to it. And the success table is 9 or less is a failure, 10 to 14 is a mixed success, 15 to 20 is a success, and 21 plus is a perfect success. And Tersh rolled a 4.
So you kick the slate and it causes some quite bad damage to your leg, and you fall backwards and clutch your leg. So the actual description for the success table is: the player has failed with what they attempted. The weaver must decide now on consequences relative to what the player set out to do. So I think you lose an extra pool from your an extra dice from your pool for that, as you quite badly kind of judder your knee. And you are in no position to actually get up now. You are clutching your knee in pain.
You okay?
Just wave.
So I'm leaving Toothbug, Akane, and Mikio up top, and working my way down.
So, Koji, as you're working your way down, you hear a dunk, dunk, and you see like several nuts kind of fall from above you and go past you, and then the ladder slowly starts to kind of tilt outwards from the rock, starting up above.
Is there anything I can do at the top to kind of grab one end of it and help anchor it while he's halfway down?
Yeah, that would work.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. You slam the ladder back into the rock, and your weight is kind of stopping the ladder from tilting outwards, giving Koji a chance to get down.
Climb faster, kid.
So Koji, you make it down, and now you are in the predicament where the ladder will definitely fall away from the cliff face if you let go of it.
Yeah. So let's talk about this rope. So the top of the rope is attached. Dersh did not successful getting something sharp in order to cut it. Is there enough rope that like we could take the bottom and throw that up and potentially?
So, if you sort of look up a reference for shrine rope. Shrine rope is this very thick knotted rope. It's kind of woven together. It is probably not enough to as is, and it's kind of joined at both ends in an arc above the entrance to the shrine. But if you were to unravel it, it might be long enough to throw up there, but also it might be a lot weaker.
I mean, Dirge, can you just fly up there and just bring everybody down?
Kitsune had the last trick. I stumble my way back over to Koji. So the only two left up there are
Mikio and Akane.
Mickey and Akane.
And remind me, Willow, there's no other way to continue along on the level we are at up top. The ladder is kind of really the only way to proceed from here.
Yeah, the platform is the platform at some point had a set of stairs going down to this other platform, which obviously fell away at some point. You can kind of see where it ends at the end of this platform, and somebody has bolted a ladder into this cliff face to make up for the lack of stairs.
Following the path doesn't seem to be the problem. I think they should jump down and we should continue.
Connie, why don't you climb down? I can hang on to this end, and then
and I can stabilize the
I'll
bottom.
have to wing it.
We can get Akane down safely between me holding the bottom and Mikio holding the top. So if you're done hatching bugs, you can come down the ladder.
I look down and look back at Mikio and say, "You're sure this is?"
You got a better idea?
Fuck no. And I will slowly start making my way down the ladder, probably freaking out just a little bit every time it shifts, just kind of like getting stuck for a second and then relaxing and scuttling down.
The bug is kind of flying alongside you. Sorry, the tooth fairy is flying alongside you.
I give it a look like, yeah, I know you can fly. It's stupid.
So you make your way down to the bottom, and as you kind of sit down in front of Koji collapses, and you fall asleep, Koji.
Awesome.
You have a dream. You are born into a small family in a small town on Shikoku, and it is this small town. You grow up in this small town. Your parents start getting more and more distant, and eventually you kind of move out into your own home and stop talking to them. And then at one point you go and visit them to try and reconnect with them. And the house is dark and something is strange. And something with long black hair surprises you inside the house. It grabs you and knocks you out. And as you're kind of coming to and fro, it's dragging you towards the edge of the ravine. And it drags you down the side of the edge of the ravine as it's kind of gripping the cliff face towards this tall wooden tower, and it pulls you into the wooden tower, and then you're surrounded in darkness by the sounds of many other people shouting for help. And then you wake up, and it has been about 40 seconds.
Kind of how long was I asleep? You're on mute.
Long enough that I had to keep from stepping on you. What are you doing? Get up.
So, and I don't want to get into why I know this, but like, there's a lot of people that need help in the tower.
Okay. Kid, okay. Let's just get Mikio down first, and then we'll go take a look at this tower.
Yeah, I kind of look down at the three of you down there and just kind of motion you all to step back from where the bottom of the ladder is. We see Mickey kind of stub his cigarette out against the wall of the cliff, tucks the remainder of it behind his ear. We're going to have to find another way back out of here, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
I hope we have to.
And then what he's going to try and do is basically just kind of put his hands on the outer rails of the ladder and just try and slide down as far as he can to try and control the speed before, letting go once it tips off.
God, yeah, give me a body check.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to spend 2 dice on this one
That's
because this
probably
seems relatively important.
What is your body?
6.
Ooh, that's not bad. Okay.
So let's see how we do.
Learn from my example. There you go.
There it is.
All right.
Very nice.
It was a 12 in there, however, so we get to increment the Eyescape. Hooray.
Yep. So as a reminder for those watching, that Eyescape are numbers that if we roll that as we're doing these checks, then it makes things worse. We're becoming more and more visible to the eye, which is not good. But a perfect success is good.
Mm-hmm.
So as you kind of ride down this rail, something across the ravine shakes in the tree line, and a school begins to grow from behind the trees. It kind of grows in front of your very eyes, getting higher and higher and higher, and then it kind of stops. And it's this perfect looking abandoned school. There's like smashed windows, like it was there forever, but it's just grown out the ground.
And where's the tower relative to this?
So the tower is affixed to the side of the ravine, kind of going
Right.
down the ravine.
The side
Right,
we're
okay.
on.
Right.
Can I just check the 4 before the failure? That was a non-natural 4. That was a with modifiers.
That was
right?
a 1+3, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that was a roll to 1.
Okay, cool.
All right. So against his own prediction, Mickey kind of lands heavily but neatly at the bottom of the ladder. Kind of looks up.
And I'm there to like give you a high five, like waiting.
Light the cigarette up. All right, let's go.
Do you leave him hanging?
Oh yeah, I absolutely leave him hanging.
And as you say, let's go, the ladder kind of crumbles into the ravine, and the rest of the bolts pop out as it falls and clangs all the way down until it falls into the water.
Akane is staring at the school that has risen up into the woods, and this is dreaming. This is me dreaming. This is a nightmare, and I'll wake up eventually. That's what all of this is. Even you, as she says to the bug.
It clacks in response.
All beautiful dreams are dream creatures' nightmares. I'd like
I just roll my eyes and start walking.
I'd like to think that I've torn my shirt to wrap around my wounded leg,
Sure.
and
You are definitely limping.
my kepi hat has also flown off in the scrape, I think, and it gets caught on the wind, very briefly entangling with my friend's hat. And so I tie the remainder of my blood-soaked or streaked shirt hem around my head.
All right, you enter the tower.
Before we enter the tower, though, I'd like to see if I can't get Dasuke on the communicator,
Walkie-talkie.
the walkie-talkie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So you get him, and he goes, "Hello, hello. Are you okay? You okay?"
What do you know about schools that grow in the forest?
Sorry, schools that grow in the forest.
A school just grew in the forest.
Are you talking about the old high school over the ravine? That's always been there.
I guess so. Bye. Over.
Okay.
All right. Now we can go.
All right, you head into the tower. It is dark, and the inside is there's like an initial entranceway. The walls are these like strange designs. These kind of there's like hands and arms, and they're kind of all haphazardly carved into this wood. And after this initial entranceway to your right, there is slanted wooden stairs just going down in a spiral down this tower. And there is incense burning in a little holder at the top, and you can kind of smell it wafting up from below. And it is very dark, but you can hear this kind of groaning noise from below.
I'm gonna take my camera and kind of point it down. Using my shutterbug ability, I'm gonna snap the picture. So I'm hoping for two things, Will. One, I'm hoping the flash of light offers us something, and then obviously 20 minutes from now I'll look and see what the picture looks like.
Sure. So the flash of light illuminates that the stairs kind of tilt down in this spiral, and they go further and further, and you can't really see around the corner, but you can see that every now and again there is a gap in the wall with a small incense burner holder and a small Jizo statue kind of situated behind it. But weirdly, the Jizos have their heads all turned backwards.
He'll crank up his flashlight and just kind of scan around, make sure there's nothing hiding in the dark.
Initially, you see nothing hiding in the dark. That you can see these kind of strange sculptures on the walls, the kind of hands and the sort of limbs, and occasionally you'll see like a human face carved into the wood.
I am your shadow right now, Mikio. You have got the flashlight, and I'm not going to be far from you.
Well, if there doesn't seem to be anything up here, I guess our next step is to go down.
So you make your way down this winding staircase, and it goes down and down and down. And it almost feels like it goes on for too long. Like you definitely should have hit the bottom of the ravine by now. And as you make your way down, you come to a doorway, and the stairs go further down, but the doorway goes off to the right.
Sorry, is it a door or just an opening?
It's a door. It's like a carved doorway, but there's no. Sorry, it is an opening. There's no door on the doorway.
Oh, so just like the arch.
Yeah, you can see that there's another platform with stairs going up and down on the other side.
And does this all like vaguely feel like we're still fitting inside of the tower, or is the architecture geometry getting effed up?
As far as you could tell, it was a single tower, so there shouldn't be a doorway into another tower here.
That's what I figured.
You're also pretty sure you should have gone through the ravine floor by now.
Mm-hmm.
What are we just going to keep walking down into the dark with no plan and no idea what we're doing?
What plan do you... Yes, Connie, we should have a plan. So what's our plan?
I don't know. That's why I was hoping one of you would have some... Well, not you, but someone would have some sort of clue. These stairs go back up. Should we go back up? On the
I mean,
other
there was
side?
nowhere back up for this. So like the room between the two stairways, is it just like a little landing? I mean, does it look like it has anything to it or in it, or is it just like an opening between the two stairways?
Just more Jesus statue, more incense burning, more of that kind of strange pattern across the walls, the kind of carved limbs and faces and arms.
So I think I'd like to use my eye for detail ability.
Nice.
Spending a die to discover a single clue relating to the current investigation in any location. And what I'm hoping for, obviously it's your call, is some indication of, because we've got basically 3 directions we could go that aren't the way we came. And if there's any indication as to where we need to go, I guess. If any of maybe the hands or the faces are all pointing or looking in one direction, or maybe there's some tracks in the dust or whatever I can find.
Yeah, of course. So your eye for detail, you kind of scan your torch along the ground, and you can see that there are drag marks, and the drag marks are making their way through this entranceway, ignoring the way down, and then going back up the stairs. The other thing you notice is that every now and again, you notice a tiny bit of movement out the corner of your eye.
Is it the bug?
It's not. You can also, as you kind of become accustomed to the inside of this area, you hear this this groaning and creaking as though like a hull of a ship or the inside of some sort of great hive full of wooden bees, maybe. Or
question for you, Willow. If we were looking at this from outside,
yes.
We went down, which way would we be going, like across the next area? Would it be right, perhaps, from a certain perspective?
It would, yes, it would.
So
be
if we
right.
go down, right, up, and Mickey kind of mutters that to himself, down, right. I think we got to go up. It looks like there's some tracks coming through here. Looks over at Dirge. You gonna be all right on those stairs again with your leg? Okay. We'll head over and start going up.
Yeah. As you make your way up, the kind of the architecture is staying the same, this inconsistent pattern, and you can hear this groan now coming from above you, this kind of hum, and it becomes more apparent. There's this these voices calling out for help. You kind of hear help and please, and then as you kind of round a corner in the spiral up, an arm that's affixed to the wall, a wooden arm, kind of reaches out for you, and the face next to it opens its wooden eyes and begins to beg you for help, and then all of the faces begin to wake up. They begin to open their eyes.
I just thought there were people down here. I didn't realize. I misunderstood. How can we help you?
Help you? I haven't seen the sun in so long.
Do we try to take the roof off of this thing? How do we get these people out of here?
How did you get here?
Something that another one kind of pipes up and goes, they took us, the long-haired things.
I mean, we got to keep going. We can't do anything for them now.
Yeah.
Since you're the one looking, can I get a brain check from you?
Sure.
What does Mikio have in brain?
7.
Oh, nice.
He's a reasonably smart guy. But it is me rolling dice, so let's see what happens. All right.
14.
Yeah, not as good as 15, but we'll take it.
Any Eyescape numbers in there?
No, it was a 7, which I don't.
Just a 7.
Not, yeah.
Okay. So 14, mixed success. So as you're kind of snapping your head around, kind of looking at all these faces and these arms moving, you snap your head around and you see the kind of movement that you kept seeing at the corner of your eye, and you see one of those long-haired things is kind of crouched on the wall, and it seems to be kneeling down towards one of the faces and kind of the only way you could describe it is vomiting wood over the face, which solidifies and the face stops moving and it kind of scuttles away through this kind of slatted wood away from you. As you notice it, you kind of catch it just as it's moving away.
Oh, I don't
Is
like that.
Is there anything loose I can throw at that thing? Is there a piece of wood or just anything at my feet?
I would say on the mixed success, you catch it just as it's kind of crawling back into the hole, so there was no time to hit it.
It's too quick. So it's the hair clog things are like turning things wood.
Yeah.
Splinter weavers.
Do you just make that stuff up?
All right, let's
That is an excellent name.
let's get going. We're not doing any good here.
I would like to not get caught by one of those things. Yes, let's go.
Yeah.
So as you make your way up, you come to another fork. So there is two entranceways this time. There is one kind of going to the left and there's one going to the right. Again, similar sort of landings on the other side of these entranceways. More tower going up and down.
You said up and right was the way to go, right?
Well, that's what was on that tooth.
What? On the what?
The writing on the tooth. Were you paying any attention?
I just give you a look, Akane, and then shake my head.
All right, come on, let's go. To the right.
Up to the right, yeah.
All right. You make your way through, and on the sides there is a similar sort of platform going down, going up, but there is another entranceway to the right.
Well, my notes say we keep going right.
Yeah.
I guess we're
All right.
following directions on it.
Should we be leaving like breadcrumbs, or do we just keep going down left?
I mean, we can follow the trail back, but we don't got a ladder. The only way out is going to be through.
Okay.
All right. You make your way down, and as your light kind of turns a corner in this spiral, you see several of these kind of black-haired things kind of crouched over several moving people. They've been kind of calling out to you this whole time, and they are throwing up wood onto these things and kind of rubbing it in with their long limbs. And the light kind of makes them scatter, and they all run up the sides of the tower into these small slotted holes.
And I point to the people. That's who I saw. That's who I knew was here. And I'm not even thinking about it. I'm going to run and try to help, like, anybody who's not made of wood. Let's see if we can get them to stand up. Like, what condition is everybody in?
So can I get a body check on trying to pull the arm of someone? Also, we've lost Dirge.
No,
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I got you, Dirge. All right. I'm going to spend 3. That brings my pool down to 11. So 3d12s. 1, 2, 3, plus my whopping body of 3. Oh, that's nice. So Merry Christmas. That's 2 4s for your Eyescape. And I got 1 shy of a perfect success. I rolled a 20.
All right. You kind of position your feet on the sides of this arm, and the person is kind of going, help me. And you pull, and the arm snaps off. You pull so hard. And as it snaps off, the person starts screaming, and their kind of limb, it just looks like broken wood. Their limb kind of starts shaking around, but the arm in your hand very quickly turns to flesh and is now just a decapitated arm. Or is that the word? Decapitated? A de-limbed arm.
He's unarmed.
Unarmed.
I'm just gonna stand there holding this arm, going,
Please stop helping.
yeah, we don't do that again. And I just drop it to the ground.
And I would like to say this is a result of your eyescape. As you can drop it to the ground, the black-haired things, they're kind of like peering down from these holes. And they scuttle back into the holes, and this putrid liquid starts flowing out of the hole down into the wooden structure. And it's kind of mixing with the smell of the incense that was kind of wafting up and around, and it's creating this incredibly acrid mist that is covering everything. This kind of yellow fog.
We need to go.
Yeah. We can't help these people.
Nope.
Not
We
from
can just
here.
tear their arms off. That's it. Let's go.
So you make your way down
Mhm.
this tower, this
dropping
kind
like
of
flies.
spiraling tower. We lost Urge again.
I can see Dirge. Do this real quick for me, Will. Just do a refresh on your browser.
Yeah, of course.
We'll give you a half second, and then you should come right back. In the meantime, we're gonna be gorillas in the mist. I don't know what it is about Willow's
And they
subscriptions
never
stuff.
saw him again.
I know. It just freaks me out. Throwing up wood.
It's evocative. I mean, I'll give
It's
you that.
definitely evocative. It's like, good God.
Taking notes for Trail of
All
Cthulhu.
right. Can you see Dirge now, Willow?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So you make your way down this spiraling tower, and you come to there is a platform, another platform, a door leading to the left, like a doorway, and you can see a similar sort of platform. But below you, there is a hatch with a big ornate kind of wooden handle on this hatch, made out of an arm, that's kind of gripping it.
I'm not pulling any more arms.
Well, from reading the directions right, this is our last one going down again. So if you're all ready, I will reach and try and open the hatch.
Sure. You grab the hatch and pull it open. And can I get a brain check?
Keep asking me to roll dice. You know I'm not good at
I
that.
love this game only because Brian rolls so often.
Brian's our man of action. Of course. He's
This is why I always try to be a follower rather than a leader.
Nice.
All right, cool. So 17.
17.
10 on the die is an Eyescape die, of course.
So, give me 1 second to just check the Eyescape. So, as you pull open this door, this shaking, rumbling noise comes, and the whole structure you're in begins to shake. You all kind of fall to the ground, and this door is wide open, and in the darkness, a black-haired thing leaps forward and latches onto your shoulders. But your brain check kind of made you a bit wary of this door, and you managed to kick it off, and it kind of scuttles into a corner and turns back around to face you.
All right,
Everyone else is on the floor, and you have kicked this thing into the corner.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pull out the baton and kind of take a step closer to be between it and the rest of the group and say, see what's down there. Well, I'm just kind of blocking this thing.
I'll scramble up and look down the hatch.
So down in the hatch, this kind of groaning, pleading noise that's been coming from the rest of the tower, it's different down underneath. You hear this kind of chanting, this mantra going on, and you can see this red glow from below. And the smell of incense is especially strong down there.
Dirge and Akane, why don't you head in? I'll stay up here with Mickey, and then we'll be right behind you. And I'm keeping close eye on this hair thing in case it attacks Mickey. I want to get involved.
I'll take the bug off of my shoulder, hold it in my hand, and say, go ahead of me. If you see anything that's scary, just come back quickly, okay? And I'll let it go down the hatch first.
What do you think the bug is going to consider scary?
I don't know.
It whizzes its way down this spiral, and it's gone for like a few seconds, and then it whizzes its way back up, and it's doing the you ever seen Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Mm-hmm.
It's doing the kind of courage like gesturing and
chattering, yeah.
but it's all just teeth chattering. There's no whimpering because it's made of teeth. And it's gesturing that there's something scary down there.
It's definitely not safe down that way, but do we have a choice? I'll look over at Dirge. We don't have a choice, do we?
Into the yellow incense.
That's not a choice. And he'll still start going down the stairs.
Help Elkani as best I'm able.
I hate all of this.
So as you make your way down, the black-haired thing jumps across as though trying to stop you and slams into the hatch, kind of pushing it down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
I'm gonna try and kick it off the hatch.
Yeah.
Give me a body check.
And remind me, I can help by just permanently giving up a die, right? And adding a die for Mickey. Okay, so I'm going to drop down to 10 dice.
You need to describe how you help.
I'm just kicking it with like Mickey's definitely like is the one that's squared up against this thing, and then I just want you to imagine Koji like I'm on my butt, just kicking like off to the side a little bit.
So make a body check with help.
All right. That's just another D12 on my side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a free D12 for that.
Cool. Well, it's an Eyescape die, but it's a perfect success.
That is perfect.
Fantastic. You your foot slams into this black-haired thing, and it, like back up in the bathhouse, it splits apart into several long, twisted arms with black hair growing off of them, and they all kind of crawl up the walls. And you have definitely kind of done some damage to this thing, because it is leaving this sort of yellow liquid behind, as though it had this kind of yellowy blood. It's kind of spattered across the surface. And the Eyescape, nothing happens initially.
Mm-hmm. Sure, thanks.
That's all right.
And I just yelled at Koji, go, 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 go.
Well, we got to get the hatch open up again, so I'm going to try to pull open this hatch. Dirt, can you help me?
You pull open the hatch.
Okay. And then, I don't like the fact that Akani's been down there by herself for this half second. So I'm going to just launch myself down there.
You guys are down this this spiral staircase. The hatch kind of falls closed behind you, cutting you off from the rest of the town.
Do I get to join them down there before it closes?
Yeah. You join them, and then the hatch
I want to make sure we're all down there. Yeah.
And below you is this kind of red glow. The incense is much stronger down here, and there's this chanting. And as you make your way down the spiral staircase, this kind of wooden tilted staircase, the arms and the faces, you realize that the chanting is coming from the faces around you. They're not calling out for help. They're all chanting this mantra. And you come to this large room at the bottom. The spiral staircase kind of breaks out of this this hole in the ceiling and comes down into this large room. It's completely made up of these arms and limbs and faces in this kind of void space. And at the center of it, up several arm-shaped stairs, is a stone statue, which is very interesting to see. And the stone statue has no head, and its arms are on backwards, and it's kind of holding out its arms, and draped over its arms is the woman from Dirge's picture. She is unconscious. She you can kind of see that she's breathing a bit, but her left arm is almost entirely wooden, and there are several of those black-haired things kind of crouched over her, vomiting wood onto her. Oh, and there's one more detail. There's these incense burners all around the structure, kind of jutting out of the arms, with these kind of deep bowls of incense that are burning brightly.
I don't think there's a thought, but I propel myself forward as best I can. And I'm going to snatch the bandana that I made and start using it to slap splinter weavers.
Sure, give me a Splinter Weaver body check. A slapping,
All right.
slapping Splinter Weaver body check.
I think I'm going to have to spend 3 on this one.
This would be a good one to succeed on for show.
Yeah. 3 10s, which means 3
Mm.
Eyescapes.
Oh crap!
We got one. We got a
Oh, no.
111, but a nice 27.
It's a good number.
That is.
So you have hit step 12 of the Eyescape, which is the eye's anger increases, their power growing as their agents strengthen and change, claws lengthen, teeth sharpen. All damage dealt to investigators is now 2d12 instead of 1.
Beautiful.
Great.
Yikes!
But you managed to slap a lot of Splinter Weavers. So you just start going slap happy. They kind of pull away from this figure and stop their puking of wood. And several of them there's about 4 of them. 3 of them clamber up the sides of this structure, this internal structure, and you just slap one so hard that it splits into the several pieces, and they kind of sliver away into gaps in between the arms.
While he does that, I have been looking at this room and looking at and remembering what's happened every other time we've interacted with these things. And while he is slapping, I am going to go around and just start, and I'm going to use my little, bug to kind of show it what I'm doing and start pushing these incense holders off of their holder and clattering them onto the floor, like knocking them off before they can start spewing that stuff into the room.
Sure. So you knock all these incense holders over, and they kind of tip this burning mixture out onto the wood, and it sets the arms ablaze each time this happens, and fire starts to spread around the room, kind of burning these limbs. And the chanting, the chanting is intermingled with the screams of people.
Great.
Yeah, well,
I was totally going to do that. I'm really glad you said something.
I have in my notes behind the curtain to enforce that the incense holders get knocked over in some way through some failed skill check. So I'm glad
You're
we
welcome.
all had the same thought.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, is there anywhere out of this room, or is it just this?
Just the
The
circular-
way
staircase
we
back
came.
But Dirge, can you get the woman?
Shibuya. I turn my attention to her, and I call her that, not remembering her name. And as icky as it may be, it probably won't be the grossest thing we've heard so far. With my blood, I would like to paint the character for body on her forehead.
Sure. And can you just explain what that does?
Nothing mechanically.
It's just a
Dirge.
thing he does.
Dirge
Right.
is just a weirdo.
However, going by the musician archetype, magic and mouth are, of course, my highest stats, and I try to lean into that. And it actually, in the absence of any paper talismans that you might find in a Japanese temple, Ofuda's, I like to think that maybe, given his mystical leanings, he is echoing that purpose.
Give me a magic check.
Okay, I will use 2 dice.
What do you have in magic?
7. Which is a 27.
Yep. plus we got the we did hit a 12.
Escape, yep.
More eyes. Great. A 12 should never be an eye score. Okay? You should never be rooting for an eye score.
Chorogaiden version 2.
Nothing happens initially. So
But it looked cool.
so as you kind of cut your is it your hand or your wrist, or
So you're
are you
bleeding
just
your
using
leg,
the blood
right?
that's already?
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of blood on the bandana hasn't dried from my initial leg wound, and I just have enough to, sketch the character.
Okay. So you kind of put this body symbol on her forehead, and one of the black-haired creatures has kind of scuttled back over without you noticing, and it's kind of reaching for her. And as you finish writing this character, this force wave kind of spreads out from the character, and the black-haired thing flies backwards into the
Nice.
the wall of fiery arms, and it kind of burns up like paper in a fire, so it kind of instantly alights and kind of scatters to ash straight away.
Do you have more blood?
I think
Help me with Shibuya.
Yeah, I think Mickey, being aware that Dirge is not particularly strong, will head over and try and get her off the statue.
And
She's still not showing any sign of being conscious or anything, right?
No.
Okay.
And she's still got a wooden left arm, and you kind of notice that it's covered in these strange symbols, but also her feet have turned to wood. Is another thing that you've noticed. You thought at first she was just wearing shoes, but they are wooden feet. So you lift her up.
Mm-hmm.
She's very heavy. She's being weighed down by something.
Well, I want to try and start carrying her back to the stairs because I don't think we want to stay in here now.
No, we need to get going.
Can I get a body check to get her back up the stairs in time for something?
I will help him. I will drop one of mine to give him an extra die.
Thank you very
Carry
much.
her up the stairs.
And don't touch anything else, Akane.
Oh,
Oh my god. What's your
well, I
body?
got to 10. It's a mixed success.
Okay. So you make your way back over the stairs, kind of dragging her, and Akane is helping by kind of lifting the legs.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get back to the stairs, one of the black-haired things was kind of hiding under the stairs, and it grabs her leg from underneath the stairs and tries to yank her under the stairs.
I'm just going to start kicking it again. Just
Yeah.
beating at that hairy ass arm.
Can I get a body check from Koji?
You sure can. So I will use a die, bringing me down to 9. So it's going to be a D12 plus 3.
And I would like to assist
Yeah.
I would love
by
that help.
just flailing at it with my right arm.
All right. So it'll be 2. I'll take the die, the help die. So it'll be 2 plus 3. So I got up to a 10, which is good, and no escape.
Fantastic. So you kind of kick the blackhead thing, and it's not enough to kind of destroy this creature, but it is enough for it to let go initially, for you to drag this woman back up a few stairs away from the thing, and the blackhead thing scuttles away past the woman and past you up the stairs into the darkness.
Dirge, who is this woman? Do you know her?
She is my anchor.
Mickey, what does
She
that
weighs
mean?
as much. Come on, let's get her out of here. We can figure out who she is later.
Let's talk more. Run, please.
And as you said that the fire has spread to the bottom of the stairs. It has now engulfed this room. This is a ball of fire. You are inside.
Yes.
So as you're making your way up the stairs, the fire is spreading immensely fast. Like this wood is very flammable, as though it was kind of coated in something. And the mantra has stopped, and it is just screams now as you make your way up these stairs and you get to the hatch. The hatch is kind of just at head height for Dirge, so it is not too far off the ground, but there is no kind of ladder to it or anything. You would have to kind of use your upper strength to pull yourself through this through this hatch.
Oh, fine. Akane will look at Dirge and say, "Help me up," and try to scramble through first, and then try to help pull people through from the top side. Would you like me to?
So you open it up and you scramble through pretty easily. And as you're turning around to try and pull other people through, the black-haired creatures are in front of you, and one of them slams the hatch shut, and the other two circle around you.
No, fuck. Of course they do. Yeah, I think I'm just. I don't think she quite knows what to do. She's just gonna start banging on the hatch, like behind her, just like with her back to it, just like banging on it, trying to find leverage to push it up.
I would assume, Dirge, you were right there because you were helping her up, right?
Mm-hmm.
She looks at the bug and she says, "Can't you do anything?"
The bug rises off your shoulder and flies at the face of one of the black-haired things. You assume that's where its face is. You can't really see through the hair. I'm going to make a body check for the bug. The thing reaches up and it just slaps its hands together and the bug squishes.
Oh.
So the bug rolled a 2.
Oh no. Poor bug. I like the bug.
I'm sure you'll make more.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You have 22 other teeth.
That's right. You're good.
Yeah, I think she's just kind of stuck. I don't think she knows what to do. She's like scrambling around in her bag trying to find like anything. Like, she used to live in the city? Didn't she have mace somewhere? Like, and just not coming up with anything until she just starts swinging the bag around as a weapon just to keep them away.
Fantastic. Give me a body check for swinging the bag at the hair thing.
All right, I am going to spend a die. So 2d12. Or I said roll one more. Why did I not roll? All right, so a total of 14, and that was a 9 and a 3. So 1
plus your body.
Oh, plus body 3. So a total of 17.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a success.
And one
and one eye escape. Give me 1 second on the eye escape.
I've been forgetting to give myself back a die when I succeed.
Yes, yeah, that is important.
Yeah, I just
when you succeed.
I went back and did that.
So nothing initially happens for now. I will explain that a lot of these things are linked to the town, which you are not currently in. So things might be slightly different when you get outside. So for now,
I'll be happy to just get outside.
You're swinging this bag, and it connects with the where you assume the head of this thing would be with a clunk, and one of the arms kind of flies off with a bit of hair, and it splits apart. And the other two, seeing you do this to the first one, they all kind of crawl off in different directions up into these wooden slatted holes away from you, and you are able to wrench that hatch open. And the rest of you, this is just in time because the fire is making its way up the stairs just behind you.
Go, go, go. We can't stay here.
Yep, get
Yeah.
up there and obviously help the
pulling people up and
You pull people up. You kind of look around and you realize that the area that you are in is now different to the area that you were in when you went down there. So now there is a entranceway to your left and your right, and there is no way up.
What did the two say now, Mickey?
The tooth god is there. It's done.
Akane, do you have a get out of here tooth?
I don't think so. I just say we go wherever up is.
And I look up and there's no up. There's left or right.
So in the entranceway, left and right, on your left there is a way up, and then there is a third entranceway across from that entranceway, and to your right there is a way up and a way down, but no other entranceways.
So which of them was not here the last time, or are they both different than last time?
None of this was here last time.
Yeah, this is all new, I think.
I just go to the left and start going up.
I follow because better that we stick together. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeling a little panicky and am now just kind of going on instinct.
I'll pull up the rear, but I'm gonna take a glance to the right as I follow them. And and I think in the scramble up out of the hatch, the photograph I had of Shibuya has fallen out of my pocket and is burning up as the flames start to lick the hatch open.
Aww.
Yeah.
But I think we should have gone right.
So the flames are kind of spreading up from this hatch, and they've now made their way out into the platform as you make your way left and go up. And around you, you can just hear the screams of these people that are kind of embedded in this wooden wall, begging you for help. And they start to grab at you as you run past. They're kind of grabbing at your clothes and your legs and your arms. And then in front of you, as you're turning this corner and this spiral upwards, there is a wooden man standing in front of you, and he's kind of stiff, but he's tottering towards you, and he goes, you have to help me.
We don't know how to help.
He falls on you. He is heavy.
Yeah, I get out from under him. I don't want to touch him even. Ugh.
Look, follow us if you can. We gotta go.
I can't. He's like, he can't even sit up. His back is just completely stiff, and he's kind of writhing around on the floor.
There's no way we can get everybody out of it. We gotta go. I think we just keep going, right?
Akane isn't even stopping to talk. She's just running.
I continue to follow Akane.
As you make your way past him, the flames reach him, and he starts to scream, and he's going, why? And then the flames kind of over. His head is towards the way down, and they overtake his head, and his legs still kicking.
Thanks for that.
And that's okay. You're welcome. You make your way up to the landing. There's another landing, and you are in the entranceway. The exit is right there. And as you make your way out, you burst out of this tower. The day that you left behind, this kind of sunny day, it has gone, and it's replaced with this raging storm all around the kind of ravine. And there's now this torrent of water running below you, and wind and rain are kind of lashing down. And the tower itself doesn't seem to be on fire from the outside.
Mm.
Kane's just going to be breathing, like almost hyperventilating.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have to figure out how to get back up to the town? I mean, is this what we needed to do, Dirge? Is to save your girl?
So I think while Dirge has a moment, I'll tie the bandana back on. I'll kneel facing the tower entrance, and I will I'll go back. I'll use the old ways in prayer. Not too long, not enough to be a distraction to the game. But I'd like to then get up and. So the knotted rope is still there, the temple rope?
Yes.
All right. Can two of us, can we combine two people to try to pull the rope down?
Yeah. Give me a body check. An initial one for whoever is trying this, and then whoever is helping will lose a die.
Yeah, I'll give you a die, Dirge, if you want to roll it.
Well, I was gonna suggest a reporter or detective do it.
I've got a body of 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do it. So I'll put her down. She's still unconscious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
She's still partially wooden.
Yes.
All right. Well, I will put her down and see if I can get this rope with whatever assistance I have. This is a body.
And I can give him a die.
Okay, great. I won't do it then.
Alrighty.
I'm getting really low on my dice pool though.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. Well, got to 14 with an Eyescape roll, of course.
Yep, we got a 3.
So you yank this rope down, and the mixed success means that it pulls a bunch of the wood down with it, and it kind of slams into Dirge's shoulder, and it kind of it jams in. It's like sharp, and it jams into your shoulder. Lose 2 dice from your dice pool.
Oof.
How's your dice pool looking, by the way?
It is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 out of 10, so
Okay.
3 left.
Oh, you're at 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
But this rope comes like crashing down, and it's very sort of thickly knotted. There's these kind of bits of straw hanging off of it.
Is this going to get us out of here, Dirge? We need to go up.
So I'm going to try the same trick going up as I did coming down. And fly or jump high enough, flapping my duster like a bird's wings, and try to get to the precipice that was used to house the ladder.
And if it's okay, what do we say? Take a 10-minute break before we find out what happens?
Yeah.
All right, be back in 10. All right. So we're going to find out if Dirge can fly.
So Dirge, remind me what you're doing.
I have leapt up with one end of the temple rope, trying to reach the ledge upon which the railing that we followed down to this place used to have a rusty ladder.
Sure. Give me a magic check for that.
Oh. All right. So remind me what happens when we run out of dice out of our pool.
So when you run out of dice out of your pool, If an investigator ever has no D12s in their pool, they collapse and faint, physically unable to continue. They must be taken somewhere safe to rest for at least 4 hours by someone else. If they do not, they're taken by the Eyes minions to the gate and slip into the world beyond. They are considered dead.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Okay. Well, I will spend just 2 dice.
Do you want a boost up? Do you want me to try and do the foot?
Oh,
Close.
nice.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean my pool isn't great either, but I'll put one in.
All right. So I would roll 3 dice then.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Plus your
23.
and 2 eyescapes.
Of course.
And do I recover 1 die from that?
Yes.
You
Yes.
succeeded.
All right. I am back down to 2 dice in my pool.
Nice.
So what was your total again, sorry?
The total was 23.
23. Perfect. Yes, you fly upwards with this this rope, and you just keep going. You actually go up to the top of the cliff. You manage to sort of grab hold of the grass, kind of leaning over the top of the cliff as you begin to slowly descend back down. You are way above where the platform was, and as you look up, you see this there's this strange moment. There's this storm raging around you. There's this rain hitting you, and there's an owl perched on a branch on a tree just above you, and it's kind of looking at you with these big yellow eyes. And then you slowly begin to descend back down.
I keep my eye fixated on the owl as I descend until I reach the rocky path and tie off the end of the temple rope onto the railing.
Sure. So you tie this rope off, you kind of unravel it a bit and manage to drape it back down, and it reaches way below where the other platform is.
Beautiful.
Kind of swinging in the constant rain and wind.
So I'm thinking like we grab the rope. One of us, and I'm happy to do it, anchor it so that the other 2 can climb up, and then we tie it around like a harness on this woman so that the last thing we do is pull her up.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think?
Yep.
Right. I will hold the bottom, which I'd like to count that like me stabilizing, and I'll spend 2 dice, one for Mickey and one for Akane as a help.
Yeah. Give me body checks to get up the rope for each person.
I'm going to drop it 2 dice. So both Mickey and Akane, you get an extra free die.
All right, ladies first.
Okay.
What's your body?
This body, right, is a 3, so it's a 15 total.
Nice. It's pure success.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah, success. You managed to
get your
clamber up
die
this
back.
rope.
We did get an eye, unfortunately.
So you clamber up this rope, and as you get to the top, you kind of look out over this school that you were kind of wandering around earlier. And you see that above the school, there is a new addition to the school. It is a large black monolith that is kind of erected from the center of the school. It's one of those schools where there's kind of like a courtyard in the center, surrounded by buildings. And this monolith rises up from this courtyard. It doesn't actively do it as you look at it, but it's just kind of there, as though it was always there.
Yeah, it's the old school obelisk. They all have those around here.
Mickey, you did your roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you end
I'm
up
good.
with?
I also got an eye, but I also got a perfect success, or a regular success.
So you managed to get back up, and you kind of follow Okane's gaze up to this monolith, and you see that there's this light at the top of the monolith, and it's kind of sweeping along the school and along the tree line, and then it kind of moves over the ravine, and it focuses in on you, and you hear that scream again from the other side of the ravine that you heard earlier, as you're illuminated in this harsh yellow light.
This is fine.
So I am going back to my camping days and just creating essentially an under-shoulder harness with this rope around this woman, and then I will end up. She will be my anchor as I climb up the rope. So I will do, I assume, a body check, right?
Yes.
All right. So let's spend 2 die. So it brings me down to 7. 1, 2 plus 3. Okay, so 16, which is good, but I hit a 12. So that's again the Eyescape. We're gonna die, just so you know.
Sure.
We keep hitting this damn Eyescape. And then as soon as I get to the top with my success, I want to start pulling her up.
Yeah, so I'm going to carry that success over. So you managed to pull her up.
Great.
You get her back onto the platform. Let me just check the Eyescape.
Or does the Eyescape check you?
Mm.
Yeah. Freaking Sauron across the way going to high school.
Yeah.
So the intensity of this light begins to rise, and it feels almost like your skin begins to burn in this. Like all of you, it feels like your skin begins to burn, and you just feel like you need to get out of this light.
Yeah. So as soon as she gets hoisted up to the walkway, I'm gonna pick her up again and start trying to get out of here, back into the shrine.
Same.
Back into the bathhouse.
Yes.
So as you make your way to this entrance that you came through before, these like double doors, you look up and you see a like makeshift rope ladder dangling down, and at the top of the rope ladder is Daisuke, and he's waving to you, and he goes, "I thought you guys, where have you been? It's been days."
Oh Jesus! I thought I was hungry.
Climb first, talk later.
Yeah. Yep. Let's climb.
So I'm going to carry your checks over. So you will make it to the top of this ladder, and Daisuke, he looks very flustered. He looks like he's not been sleeping a lot. He's got like bags under his eyes, and he's like, "I thought you guys disappeared too. I was going to have to go and find some more people to just help me out and find you guys as well."
Don't send any more people.
We saw what happens to him.
Don't send them.
Okay. What happened?
Can I look at the picture I took at the very beginning when we just got into the tower? That I kind of like took the picture down on all of the thing. What does it show?
Yeah,
me?
sure. So it shows you the stairway going down, and it shows you this kind of like wooden structure around the stairway as though a shell, and then it's very clearly human bodies are interlaced into this structure.
Mm-hmm. And I just hand the picture to him and say, this is what happens to him.
He's like looking at the picture, and he's like, "This is fascinating." Okay, all right. No more people going down there. We need to get those people out of there somehow. Are they okay? They look like they're stuck there.
Okay.
No, they're not. They're yeah.
They might not be there anymore. There was a fire.
He like looks at the picture, and he looks down at the tower, and then he looks at the picture again, and he goes, "I saw that. I saw her just yesterday." Okay. We won't send any more people down there.
And I point over. Can we still see the school?
Yeah.
And I point his attention to that, and he goes, "You said the school's always been there. Is the black thing with the light at the top always been there?"
That is new. That appeared a few days ago, and it's been kind of moving around across this cliff face quite a lot. I figured it was something to do with you guys. I don't.
We rolled a lot of dice.
Yeah. When you say you saw her a couple days ago, you mean? And I'm pointing to Dirge's friend.
No. He points to a woman who's like interlocked into the wall in the picture.
Okay.
And goes, I saw her a few days ago.
So I wonder if when people get sucked in there, it makes copies of them or something.
We should go and talk to her. We'll go and find out what's going on.
I
mean, we're
I
gonna
don't
be
know
stuck
about
here
you.
for-
I need to sit down for a little bit.
Oh my god, is she okay? And he like points. He notices Dirge's friend for the first time. Is she okay?
Are we going to stay here for a while, or are we going to try to go back to town, to the village?
So you guys
to
are
rest.
at the top of this cliff is a kind of a pull-in area on a short road, and there's like the beginnings of buildings back in the village. And you can see that the rope ladder has kind of been tied to one of those like tourist telescopes. It's kind of situated at the edge. So it's not too far to the and the bathhouse is right there. It's just there.
Let's go back to his place and let everybody rest up. Hopefully her wood feet will be less woody.
Akane shakes her head, stands up, brushes her legs off, and and says, "You know what? You all go do whatever it is you need to do. I'm going back to the village. I'm going back to the very nice little bed and breakfast that I rented. And then tomorrow, I'm flying back to Tokyo. That's what I'm doing. I'm going back to Tokyo. It was lovely to meet you all. Wonderful. Great. You're all very nice. I'm done."
Yeah, about that. So the storm has kind of destroyed the only road into town. They are sending some people. They're sending some people from Osaka, and they can get out here within a week, apparently, or 2, or maybe 3.
You watch something in Akane's face just break. Like her eye twitches just a little bit, and I think she actually just jumps on him, just like drives to the ground, and is just like, "Get me the fuck out of here! Show me how to get out of here."
You don't want to be alone with whatever that is out in the forest there. Come on, let him up. He's a kid.
I can't. I mean, I'm not the government. They're coming with a temporary bridge within a few weeks, and
You're the one that sent me that yellow crap. You're the one that got me into this. Get me out of it.
I'm trying. I mean, all I can do is wait.
Let's go rest, Akane. Let's get back to his place. Let's see if we can't figure out what's happening with Dirge's friend. We need to talk to. We've got somebody who was in the tower and in the town at the same time. Maybe we can find you a dentist.
She looks
Also,
like
maybe
she's
have
ready
a
to punch
Snickers
him.
bar.
You see her fist come up for just a second, and she just.
I think I know a healer as well. There's a healer in town who could probably help out your friend. Let's get her back to the bathhouse and we can rest up there. And I've got a really good lead on something strange happening in the school over the way. I don't know if you saw the big monolith, but and he kind of walks off and he's kind of talking to himself, and that is where the adventure ends for the first part.
That's great. I'm
That's
going
good
to
because I was going to murder him.
We'll do the end credits and we'll talk about the game on the other side. We'll be right back.
Okay.
So before we do thoughts, stars, and wishes, Willow, is this for people that are watching? Obviously, they can go to Itch. Is that the best place to pick up the game? Oh,
You're
on
muted. I think you're back. No. No.
Oh no.
He has triggered the
You
Eyescape,
are
folks.
Terrible salesperson.
Yeah, I haven't got a.
He's not muted through OBS. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do thoughts, stars, and wishes? Then we'll come back to Willow. So maybe,
Sounds good.
Kano, can you give us the thoughts, stars, and wishes?
Oh. So, well, thoughts. Thoughts are easy. I love playing. I think we make a great group story. I really like the way we had some teamwork going on this time.
Yes, I
A
agree.
lot more than the first time. I love teamwork mechanics. Stars.
What do you think of the
Tooth
game
Fairy.
mechanically, Kano?
So I always like resource management,
Mhm.
which is what the die pool is.
Yep.
It is. It's different from everything else to stand out in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, I've planning some a one shot as soon as I feel comfortable enough running the system is how much that I have sort of glommed onto it.
Yeah, it so it is definitely cousins with WebWorld, which is the other
Hello?
game.
Hey,
Oh, there we
back.
are, Willow.
There we go.
Which is the other game of Willow's that we had on the channel that Willow
Mhm.
ran. And it but yeah, I have never seen anything exactly like these core mechanics. So I'm with you on that one. But you were going to go to stars.
Oh, the Tooth Fairy. Maeve's description and bringing the Tooth Fairy into being, that was if Junji Ito is is an influence, I mean, that definitely sort of brought that that stark, not quite Giger visual energy.
Not really. I'm not really a fan of Junji Ito, just that I haven't had like the exposure. I am a fan of Mike Mignola and
Yes.
Hellboy and all of his, and that is my horror. Like, and Clive Barker, right? Like that
Yep.
grotesque. Yeah.
The set echoes of both. So I know exactly what you're saying, Maeve. Definitely what you're saying. So Willow, you are back. I just put a link in for the itch page to pick up the game. This scenario though, was this a published scenario that people can also get their hands on, or is this
No, so this scenario is a completely original for this stream. I may add it to a future expansion. I am
Beautiful.
planning to do more expansions. It's constantly being worked on.
Yeah.
And if you want to pick up the game physically, my Ko-fi is a place to go for that. If you
Got
pick,
it. I'll
if you
find
do
that
pick
link.
up the game physically, I will send you a PDF as well. It's always a complimentary PDF, whether physical.
Nice.
And just to touch on the system, the system is something I made called the Pool system, and every one of my games uses that in some way, shape, or form. I do change it per game, but every game uses that.
I'm like Connell. I like the resource management piece. I like having a pool. I like a different way to abstract hit points. And the fact that we have control over that, which I really love. But it's that Eyescape and that Webscape mechanic that just makes every roll matter and really adds a neat intensity to it. So, but I've already sang the praises when we talked about Web World. Brian, thoughts, stars, and wishes.
Yeah, I do like the mechanics of the game. I think it's very I think the word elegant is kind of overused, but it's very efficient in the way it uses its mechanics to put the rules together. The fact that the pool is also your health, and I really like the way that clicks out. I'm a little curious if it is intended to be used beyond one shots, because it seems like for the four of us for one adventure, we got pretty far along the Eyescape, And so I don't know, if we were to do another session of this in the future where we go over to investigate the school, is any of that reset, or are we just, mirror moments from disaster, or is it mostly for one shots?
So the Eyescape does not reset. You are at step 14, I believe, of the Eyescape at the end of that. It is intended to be completed between 2 to 4 sessions,
Okay.
and then that's the game done. And then you do reset the Eyescape if you want to come back to those characters. But at the end of those sessions, you will find the gate, which is the way through to wherever the eyes are, and defeat them.
Okay.
And the Eyescape goes all the way up to step 25.
Okay.
And so the gate for us is actually in the village in a nice little tea house, right? It's not in the school.
Yeah.
It's actually
Sure.
it's a really nice bed and breakfast that's currently rented out.
Nice.
Stars.
Stars. Again, I liked all these characters. I like the way we click together. I think I have to give it to Akane, who is especially at the very end, where she says, "You know what? I have had enough of this shit. I don't care what's going on. I'm going home." Except, of course, you're not, because horror movie.
Right.
Yeah, and then wishes. I just kind of want to see what Willow comes up with next, because I like where you're going.
Yeah. Yep. It and Willow's pretty prolific too, and I've noticed Willow's expanding out. I recently backed your card game, your revolver card game. But yeah, it's as somebody who pays a lot of attention to a lot of designers, and you're doing some cool stuff, Willow. Some pretty cool stuff, especially for somebody who is relatively new to the hobby. This is not that's the part when you were on the show that I was amazed at, when you were on the podcast, to find out that you this is not a lifetime of hobby for you. This is relatively new, and it's some neat fresh ideas. Maeve, thoughts, stars, and wishes.
Thoughts. I like that. I think the pool mechanic is really good for creating tension, which I think is the most important thing in a horror game. Is the mechanics need to make you feel as isolated and pushed as the setting does. If the mechanics don't do that, then you, as a player, don't get the same tension. Like, you have to create the tension artificially. So I love when the mechanics can do that. It's the same as like when you're playing Dread and there's only a couple pulls that you can make.
Yeah.
And that tower is going to fall down as the eye starts pushing up. I really thought that was a cool, very cool thing. I did think it escalated really, really quickly. So I kind of agree with Brian. I would be kind of interested to see how it would play out in like a long term. But general,
I mean, you figure we're only halfway through just over halfway, right? So there's a lot more left to give. So it is interesting.
And as far as stars go, I got to give it to Connell. They're just such a weirdly quirky, fortune cookie-ish character. Just knowing Connell and knowing how much Connell wants to say more, Connell only giving like one word is so great. It's perfect, because I've played with Connell in several games now, and one word is not normal. So I love that. As far as wishes, I think it goes the same thing I was talking about last time. I really haven't ever gotten a chance to use the tulpomancy abilities.
Yeah.
Because the only people we were around were part of the scenery.
Yeah, right. We're in the walls.
And I unfortunately burned them to death. But listen, I was saving them from torture.
It's probably better this way.
Right.
An act of mercy.
What Akane is. No, Akane's convinced herself this is not real, and she's having a terrible dream. But no, I loved the horror vibe. I liked the everything. So it was a fun game. It's been a fun couple sessions.
And then last but not least, Willow, for people that want to stay on top of what you're making, is there particular socials they should go to, or where can they keep up to speed with you?
Yes, so I am most active on Blue Sky. My Blue Sky is neonrot.bluesky.social. And yeah, I post about all my games there. If anyone is interested, I would send them a link to my Discord as well. I post a lot there. There's a lot of funky people there. They do sort of fan work, and there's a lot of fan work for Chorogaiden. There's a lot of sort of fan hacks and classes and adventures and what have you.
Very cool. All right, so and you follow Third Floor Wars and all the socials, yada yada. You know what's coming up. Things to get excited about is a new Call of Cthulhu that we're going to be running. The very infamous scenario of Forget Me Not. There's Cthulhu Dark also coming back to the channel. This is going to be a 1-to-1, 1 GM, 1 player, an adaptation of the relatively old but interesting Of Fathers scenario, which I think was originally printed way back when by Arc Dream, when they used to have a newsletter, is where I think it first appeared. So I read the adventure. I'm going to make some changes to it, of course, but I felt like it doesn't need to be called Cthulhu. I think it can be a Cthulhu Dark scenario, which isn't always the case. So I'm really looking forward to that. And we also have got Forbidden Lands coming back. If you need more Brian, like we always do. And then, of course, in the fall, we're going to be returning to Trail of Cthulhu, which I'm looking forward to. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. Take care.
Bye all.
Bye.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again,